Hi, I'm Sandra Derrick and welcome to Cooking and Crafts. I have an exciting show planned today. One thing I'm going to talk about is nutrition. All those things you're eating, do you know what's in them? Well, I'm going to give you some little tips and some hints. Also, I'm going to do some cooking of some roasted vegetables. Oh, they're going to be fabulous when I get through cooking them. And then I'm going to be talking about when you go shopping for your clothing, some really good ideas and suggestions that make your trip very successful. Join me in just a second.
Hi, I'm Johnny Miller at your Western Sizzlin' in Ooltewah, Tennessee and Dalton, Georgia, and I can tell you that infomercials work. We've been advertising monthly to reach our customers for over 17 years now, and I know that you can reach your customers as well. You can depend on Elliott Media to take care of all your advertising needs, and remember, Western Sizzlin', we're your family steakhouse.
In the market for a new or scratch and dent appliance, Langford Appliance is the place to come. We're a locally owned business for over 30 years serving this area. Don't let your dollars go out of town. When you buy your appliances from Langford, your money stays right here in Dalton, and you can always count on us for the best service after the sale. We have a large parts and service department for all your appliance repairs or plumbing and hot water needs. Come see us when you're in need of any appliance. That's Langford Appliance at 319 North Glenwood Avenue in Dalton.
Hey, I'm Sandra and welcome back to Cooking and Crafts. And thanks again to the Varnell Senior Center, the Community Center here in Varnell for letting us use their wonderful facility. And just remember, if you have not stopped by to see them and say hello, please do so because it's a wonderful, wonderful place. Well, let's go ahead and get started, and what we're going to talk today about is nutrients and nutrition. We all eat food, and when we eat them, we know they taste good and they satisfy our hunger, but what is actually in some of the foods that we eat? And I'm going to talk about some nutrients, and then you can hopefully go home, and when you eat those foods or when you go out to eat, you'll know a little bit more of what those foods are doing for you. Let's start down here at the very end, and we'll talk about fat. Fat is not necessarily the fat that's on your body, even though that is a fat, but fat is a nutrient. You find it in foods, and it's what gives you that feeling of you're full. Have you ever had a meal and you think, well, you know, I've had a lot of food, but I'm not that full, I'm still hungry? Well, your food or your meal probably did not have enough fat to satisfy it. You know, we don't have to go looking for fat to eat. Fat is in a lot of things that we eat, and there are a lot of hidden fats. So, you know, don't go out and say, oh, I need to get a serving of fat and I need to get this. It's just in the regular food you eat in a regular diet. Any kind of cheese has fat in it. That's one of the reasons that you need to limit your intake of cheese. You know, my family and I, we could eat the whole block, but just a couple of cubes and a couple of ounces really contains a lot of fat. Any kind of peanut butter, whether it's crunchy or smooth, it contains fat. Any kind of meat, whether it's steak or chicken or pork or bacon, or I have some pepperoni here, all of these foods contain fat. Fat supplies with energy. They give us a long-lasting energy. Like if I had a spoonful of peanut butter now on some crackers or on some bread, my body would use this fat slowly. It tends to be stored in my body too. So what I don't use, I can store it for till tomorrow, the next day, and this is what makes us gain weight. So fat is an essential nutrient, but we sort of have to use it sparingly, and it does give us energy. Another nutrient that sometimes we don't think about is water. Water is in tons of foods. I have grapes, I have cucumbers, you can have fruit juices, and you can actually have a glass of water, and soups. All those foods contain water. Also, iced tea and any kind of drink that you make, lemonade. And there's even water in bread. Who would have thought? Just as not as much as probably as in some fruit juice. Water is important for your body because it hydrates you, it keeps your blood or your body temperature cool down, and I have really read in a magazine that when you feel thirsty, you're sort of already starting to dehydrate. So that's why you need to drink water and you need to drink fruit juices, and not just in the summertime, but really any time during the year. About 75% of your body is made up of water, so you need to replenish it every day, because when you go to the restroom or when you perspire, you're eliminating that water from your body. Doctors, I've read this also, they say you can go longer without food than you can without water. So drink up your water and then have those foods that are really high in water, and hopefully that will be more beneficial to your body. Carbohydrates lately have been given a bad rap. Carbohydrates are broken up into two groups. There's sugars and there's starches. Sugar is anything sweet, and that's one of those other foods that we don't have to go looking for sweets to eat. It's in honey, it's in fruits, it's in cookies, cakes, pies, candies. Another type of carbohydrate is starches. Starches is like your potatoes, your pasta, your bread, your crackers, your cornmeal. Carbohydrates give you a slower energy. Now, fat gives you the slowest, but carbohydrates are sort of a medium energy. Sugar is, you're going to burn the energy from the sugar a little bit faster than you burn the energy that you get from pasta or potatoes. So sugar is more of a faster energy burning, and then your carbohydrate, your starch, a little bit medium. Carbohydrates are really needed. Like I said, it's a good energy source for us, so don't give these up completely. Just choose your carbohydrates wisely. Whole grains are really good, like whole grains pastas. So check those the next time you go to the grocery store. One of the other nutrients is protein. Protein is for growth and repair of your body. It makes your body be what it's supposed to. It makes it grow like it's supposed to. If you get an energy, the protein kicks in and it helps you repair what you've done to your body. Protein is in anything that comes from an animal. Cheese, eggs, milk. Protein is also found in dried beans or lentils, like pinto beans. You can also find it in any other kind of beans, like black-eyed peas and things like that. When I grew up at home, my mom and dad, sometimes for supper, we would have pinto beans and cornbread, and we would have no meat. And I would go, but Mom, we're not having steak, or we're not having chicken, or we're not having ham. But my mom knew that we got the protein from our pinto beans. So sometimes you can have those foods and it will still give you the protein, but it doesn't have to be those meats. And protein is something that we need every day. Your body usually doesn't store all these things except maybe fat. So you want to have some water every day. You want to have some carbohydrates every day. You want to have some protein every day. The last two things are very, very important, even though we only need very small amounts. We'll start with vitamins. I could talk probably 4 days just about vitamins. Well, I'm not going to, but there are several vitamins. There's A, there's D, there's E, there's K. Vitamins just sort of make your body do what it's supposed to do. One of the foods that I love is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are full of vitamin A. Vitamin A is good for your eyesight, it's good for your nerves, it's good for your skin. And doctors have also found very, very healthy things that are in vitamin A. Your tomatoes are loaded with vitamin C, which fights off infections. Your minerals, there are tons of minerals too. You can find iodine in salt. It's good for your thyroid gland. You can find potassium in bananas, and bananas are good to keep your blood pressure regulated. So this is just a fast and quick, I guess, really tip of some of the nutrients, and these are all very important. Talk to your doctor to get specific needs for you, because you might have some special needs that for your diet that other people do not. So when you eat those foods next time, just remember, oh, I know what cheese has in it, or I know what sweet potatoes have in it. So hopefully this was just a little crash course and you will have some better eating. Join me in just a second, and we're going to take some vegetables and we're going to roast them. So I'll see you in just a bit.
When the diagnosis is cancer, you want the best. Advanced surgical, radiation, and chemotherapy treatment, all available under one roof, a center large enough to treat advanced or complex cases. A dedicated team of physicians, nurses, and therapists treating each patient the way they would want to be treated. It's all here at Hamilton Regional Cancer Institute. Hamilton Medical Center. Your health is our mission.
Have you ever wondered why you cannot achieve a flat tummy like you had when you were a teenager? In spite of exercise, it seems like you're getting nowhere. It could be that you've had children and it's just impossible to achieve without having surgery. With a procedure called an abdominoplasty, we have specialized techniques that can repair the damage that has been done with the pregnancy or the weight loss. We can help you to achieve a flatter, tighter tummy like you had in your younger years.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close.
Of wanting
to making history.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio. All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Hi, I'm Sandra, and welcome back to Cooking in Crowds, and I have another wonderful recipe to show you today. You know, I grew up, of course, in the South, and we fried a lot of our vegetables, which is great, and I still do that. But I have sort of discovered another way to cook your vegetables is roasting them in the oven. They are absolutely fantastic, and you can use an array of vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some things that I personally like at my house, and you can take them and expand on at your house. Just get you a baking sheet. You do want one that has the sides on it, not a cookie sheet that's flat, because you're going to put probably some oil and some other spices on it, and you don't want that running off in your oven. I go ahead and spray my pan just a little bit, even though it's going to have some extra oil on it. I like to give it that little added extra in case that things do stick. You can do any kind of vegetables you like. You can do what's in season. The thing I think is my favorite is broccoli. I love raw broccoli. It's absolutely wonderful, but I got this recipe, I actually think, in a newspaper when I was out of town on vacation. You just start with your broccoli, of course, wash it, cut it up, and try to have it sort of about the same size. Just drizzle you a little olive oil on top of it. Olive oil is that heart-healthy oil. It does still contain fat, but it's the good fat, but you still have to use it sparingly. I just sprinkle on a little dried onions. If you have fresh onions at home, that would be great. I put just a little bit of crushed pepper. It sort of gives it that little spark, that little fire to it. Don't overdo it, because a little bit goes a long way. You can do a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper if you want to. And then what I do is I sprinkle on some kind of cheese. I think today I have mozzarella cheese. It could be Parmesan cheese. It could be cheddar. It could be anything that you want. Now, my vegetables today, I'm going to cook them all in the same pan. If you didn't want to, that's fine. You could just make a whole pan full of broccoli and cook it. But I'm just going to show you, I guess, a little assortment. So this is my broccoli. I'm also going to do some carrots. I just buy the little baby carrots. You can, of course, buy the larger ones, peel them, slice them up. Again, try to have your vegetables, especially the carrots or the broccoli, try to have them all about the same size, and that way they'll cook evenly. I'm just drizzling a little olive oil on it, just a little bit of salt because the salt goes a long way. This is a little extra spice, is some cinnamon. Been reading all the benefits of cinnamon. That's really good for you. And I want this to be just a little sweet, not overboard. And I put just a little bit of brown sugar on it. It's going to make a little caramel, kind of caramelized topping. And it's going to be a little sweet, but nothing major. You can't go wrong with potatoes. I left the peeling on these when I chopped them up. You could also do sweet potatoes, but I just chopped them up, again, about the same size. Just drizzle them just a little bit with olive oil, not much. Again, a little salt, little pepper. I do just a little bit of onion flakes. Again, you could put, if you have a whole onion at home, a red one, you could put that on there. I do a little bit of paprika. To me, it sort of colors my potato and it makes it a little bit darker, and that's what my family and I sort of like. And if you wanted to take your hands or you want to take a spoon and stir that up, you could. I just find just doing mine like this in the cookie sheet, when it cooks, it just sort of goes everywhere and it saves you that extra step. And another one of my favorite is onions. I just have a white Vidalia onion. If it's not in season, you could do the sweet onion, you could do the red onion, just really anything that you wanted to. And again, drizzle it just a little bit with olive oil, not too much. I'm going to do just a little bit of salt. And you know, I tend not to put anything else on my onions. You could go with some cheese or you could go with some other spices. It's really just sort of according to what your family likes. But to me, when these onions cook, they just become so sweet and they just become sort of like a caramelized, again, like the carrots. And I just like the natural flavor by themselves, and I don't put anything else on it. So the broccoli, a little bit of olive oil, crushed red pepper flakes, a little bit of onion, and I put some cheese on it. The carrots, cinnamon, a little bit of olive oil, and also the potatoes. And you could go wild with any of these dishes. If you've got some spices in your cabinet and in your pantry, get them out and experiment with them. And then, of course, the onions, just a little olive oil. I'm going to put my oven on 450 degrees, and I'm going to cook them. And sometimes vegetables take different amounts of times to cook. But normally, this whole tray will cook in about 15 or 20 minutes. Cooking is a thing that you always want to check on it because you can always cook it more if it's not quite done. When these things have burned to pieces, there's really not much you can do except just start over. So I would say maybe after 5 minutes, check them. After 10 minutes, check them. You can take a fork and you can go in all of them and just sort of see if they're tender. You might like a little crunchy taste to yours. So just pop these in the oven, keep an eye on them, and here's what you have when they come out. I love all of these, but I will have to say the broccoli is probably my top favorite. I just can't stop eating this. It's just great. And the seasons and the spices and the olive oil, and you've cooked it on that high heat, and it just makes them taste wonderful. And like I said, there's always a place in our heart, especially us Southerners here, for those fried foods. But try these because it's something a little bit different, and you know, you want to experiment and do different vegetables that your family might like. Next time you go to the grocery store, make a list and shop for those vegetables and come home and try. And I hope you enjoy this, and I'll be back in just a second, and we're going to talk about shopping for clothes.
Hi, I'm Johnny Miller at your Western Sizzlin' in Ooltewah, Tennessee and Dalton, Georgia, and I can tell you that infomercials work. We've been advertising monthly to reach our customers for over 17 years now, and I know that you can reach your customers as well. You can depend on Elliott Media to take care of all your advertising needs, and remember, Western Sizzlin', we're your family steakhouse.
In the market for a new or scratch and dent appliance, Langford Appliance is the place to come. We're a locally owned business for over 30 years serving this area. Don't let your dollars go out of town. When you buy your appliances from Langford, your money stays right here in Dalton, and you can always count on us for the best service after the sale. We have a large parts and service department for all your appliance repairs or plumbing and hot water needs. Come see us when you're in need of any appliance. That's Langford Appliance at 319 North Glenwood Avenue in Dalton.
At Hamilton Medical Center, your health is our mission. It's why everything we do is with you in mind. It's why our associates and physicians are constantly advancing their skills with education and training. It's why we're reaching out into the communities we serve to improve the health of all residents. It's why we're ranked in the top 3% of all hospitals in the U.S. for overall hospital care, based on independent research conducted by CareChecks, a division of Comparian. Hamilton Medical Center, your health is our mission.
Have you ever heard the term, your eyes are your expressions, the windows to your soul? But when your eyelids look tired and they start to sag, it will make you look much older than you actually are. There is a simple surgical procedure called a blepharoplasty or eyelid tuck, which can help to rejuvenate and redefine the contours around your eyelids. It will even improve your fields of vision, and a portion may even be covered by insurance. We can help redefine how others see you.
Hey, this is Sandra Derrick again, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful segment. The last thing I want to talk to you about is shopping for clothing. I was a clothing major in college, and I just really liked it, but I can go overboard when I go shopping. So I'm going to give you some tips that hopefully will save you a little bit of time and money, and then when you go home with your purchases, they'll be just a little bit better for you. When you do go shopping, try to have a budget and try to have a list of, like, I need some navy pants or I need a beige top. So when you go shopping, you know what to look for. Those impulse shopping trips are fun too, but then sometimes you get home and you don't really have anything to wear with it. So make sure you have a list, try to have a budget, and sort of try to know what you want to look for when you go. I would really suggest that you try things on and at least know the return policy of the store. Sometimes you can take things back, sometimes you can't. Sometimes if they're on sale, you can't take them back. So, you know, if you buy it and you haven't tried it on and you get home and then it doesn't fit, well, the store may not accept it back. So make sure that you know the store policy, because every store is a little bit different. The main thing I like to do is I like to read my care label. Can I hand wash it? Does it have to be dry cleaned? Can I throw it in the washing machine? Always read those labels, because you're the person that's going to have to take care of it. So always know that first. Make sure if you buy something that you can wear it with other things in your wardrobe or in your closet. I used to be very guilty. I would go out and I would buy a top, and then I'd get home, I didn't have anything else to wear with it. So then I had to go buy a shirt or a skirt or a pair of pants or new shoes for it. So that top that I found at a really good bargain, it really wound up making me spend extra money. So make sure you have other things to wear with it, and what we call mix and match. Make sure that it goes with several other things in your closet. This is something that I found out at a store. Let's say that you're shopping and you love this top, but the strap, one side is off of it, or there's a loose button, and you think, oh my goodness. Sometimes if you will ask the manager at the store, you can get this item at a little bit less cost. And if you know how to sew, you can take that home and sew that strap back on and sew the button back on. It can save you some money, and you can get that top or that shirt or whatever at a little lower cost. However, if it's more expensive things, like if there's a big hole in it or the zipper's out, that's probably going to cost you quite a bit of money, and you may have to hire somebody to fix that for you. So for me, that might not be worth me buying it at that time. I would probably pass up on that item. I do the wrinkle test. If I'm going to buy something, I take it and I sort of scrunch it up in my hand a little bit, and then I let go and I see how it's going to wrinkle. You know, I don't want to wad it up and keep it there for 30 minutes, but I want to see when I have that outfit on and then I get up out of my car and I go to a meeting, is my shirt going to be wrinkled that looks like I just got out of bed? Or is it not going to wrinkle so easily? So that's the wrinkle test for me. Another thing is look at your matching plaids. Where the seam goes down underneath your arm, a higher quality and a better quality of garment, your plaids will match up. Because whoever made this, you have to use a little bit extra fabric to make those match up. Sometimes in less expensive articles of clothing, you will not see this match up at all under the seam. And here's a stripe that I have that matches up pretty well too. One of the last things too is I had a really good friend of mine that she normally only bought solids. She would buy black pants, navy pants, khaki pants, and then the tops and jackets, she would buy solids. She sort of stayed away from stripes and prints and plaids and polka dots, and she only would buy these. And she could mix and match her clothes like you would not believe. And 4 or 5 things of hers would make her look like she had gone out and bought tons and tons of extra clothes. So that might just be a tip that you want to use is, you know, sort of steer clear a little bit from the solids and plaids, or excuse me, the stripes, and go with those solids. That's entirely up to you. Also, every once in a while, go through your closet and get rid of those things. Donate it. So then when you do go shopping, you can buy the things that you really need and you can wear them. And like I said, have some fun shopping because it is a whole lot of fun. My clothing background just makes me love and love clothes. So always have a plan. Start with a budget. You know, we love to think that we have unlimited funds to shop with, but most of us don't. Know the store's return policy. Check out your clothing. Make sure the buttons are all there. If a button's missing off of an outfit and there's not one, sometimes you can find them underneath the side of your clothing. If there's not one there and you can't find another one to match it, that's probably not going to be an outfit that you want to buy. So look at the garment closely. Check and see if it's going to wrinkle. Look at your plaids and your stripes to see if they match. Also look and see if you have to dry clean it, and think about those solids. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you've gotten some great tips, and I'll see you next time on Cooking and Crafts with Sandra.
To advertise your business on TV, contact Elliott Media at 706-529-4237.